Susan, great start. Good job. Looking fantastic. Um, yeah, the hard line, your basic structure is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's really a nice job here. Great start. This is fabulous. And you haven't even added detail yet. That's the great thing. These are going to be fantastic. Okay, a few comments here. I'd like to redraw the eyebrows for Harrison Ford. So you're going more for texture, right? And that'll work definitely. Sure. Um, but this is very small to get individual strokes will not show up as well. Okay, it's all a lot of that points to experimentation, seeing how you feel, what works best. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. So these are fantastic. Really great start. Few comments I have here. Okay, so I know this is work in progress. So just a couple of comments that you've probably already thought about, but if not, let's go ahead and just mention them. So eyelashes they're really gonna add an enormous amount of vision. I'm sorry, yeah, eyelashes are going to add an enormous amount of visual engagement, and not only for the female characters but the males as well. Of course, the eyelashes won't be as prominent, but it's really going to add an enormous amount of visual engagement. So I recommend that. And here's a little example right there, as we can see. And just as gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so let's jump back over here. One thing I see in this illustration here is this really good job with your hard line. Sometimes you need to take some artistic liberty. So in other words, when you use the photograph as your template layer and you establish your hard line and your contour line based on what you see in the photograph. However, once you take the photograph away from the mix and look at the illustration, you have to look at it and say, okay, what is not working? Just because it works in a photograph doesn't mean it works in an illustration, because of course there's several factors that play in photography, things that cause distortions that may not be seen in a photograph. But if you follow the hard line or contour line and try to use it as a template layer, you'll see distortions. And one thing I'm referring to is right here, this nose area right here. It just seems like a really bulbous area of the nose. So that may indeed be where that contour line is in the photograph, but try to take some liberties here and try to really make that appear to be not so kind of distorted in a way. It's not bad at all. It's not bad. So that's really good. Of course, right here we have this kind of issue that one nostril is lower than the other and one is a lot bigger than the other. So again, this may be exactly what you saw in the uh, template photo, but again, try to take some artistic merit here, some liberties. Once you get the eye color in there, that's going to really do a nice job with the teeth. Eye color, so white where the whites of the eyes are, eyelashes, shadow and highlight areas. This little depiction of makeup, I don't think it works. It looks a little like, and I've used this example before, and again, I just want to preface it by saying I don't want to sound discouraging, but a lot of times when you add shadow and highlight areas or some other kind of characteristics, it end up looking like some kind of war paint. And you were very subtle here, but nonetheless, you can see that looks really unnatural. It's a byproduct of the fact that we're not using gradients and we're not using no gradation to change apparent hue. So I'm not real sure if you would even need to depict makeup here. And this is a great example right here because Marilyn wore a lot of makeup. But as you can see, this is a perfect rendering of her, and we don't have that makeup. Now, in this example here, you can see that there's a lot of depiction of shadow and highlight, specifically in the contour lines associated with the wrinkles in the face, the nose, and things like that, especially this neck area. We just have this gorgeous tonal variation, this tonal range based on the relationship of shadow to highlight. Same thing with the shirt too. Note the shirt has some movement to it based on the wrinkles in the shirt, the movement of the seams, and the presentation of shadow and highlight. Same thing we see here and in this video here. I wanted you to jump over. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention here in the hair. This is a great technique right here, but there's two things I would mention here. Number one is you've done a really good job using variable width variable strokes in these lines. And that's fantastic. We see that right here. So here's one right here. So it's thin on the end, it gets thicker, and then it gets thin again. And I think that's a great technique. My only issue here is that there's a lot of contrast in the curls in the hair and with the black depicting the curls, but on the blonde hair. So my recommendation here to add a little bit of harmony here is to take see how she's got black eyebrows and a lot of black features in the contour lines of the face, but the hair is depicted as the brown lines here. And I think that's to diminish attention to the hair area. And right now we can see that you might consider doing the same thing, either lightening up or maybe even using that brown from her eyebrows to depict those kind of curly contour lines. Work on the hair a little bit. I mean, this is great right here, showing great movement. Take this as your lead and note the solid areas, excuse me, here, here, and here. Note the movement created by these variable width lines, stroke lines. I'm sorry, I should say variable stroke lines. So excuse me. I'm just now all I'm doing is probably confusing you. Variable width stroke is what I'm trying to say. So that means that you've got a stroke that has a variable width in different areas. So in some areas it's thicker, in other areas it becomes thinner, as we can see right here, right? And you got that employed here to a specific degree, so that's a good start. All right. Yep, shadow and highlight is looking great. Remember, shadow and highlight areas are the same hue with different values of the same hue of the skin color. Here's a great example right here. Oh, where did it go? Right here. So that neck area, those are all the same color. They're just different values of that same parent hue. All right, so that's really a great tip in establishing shadow and highlight, is to use that same parent value. Use that same parent hue, but with various values. So in other words, the highlight areas would be a lighter value of that parent hue, and the shadow areas would be a darker value of that parent hue, where the original hue would be the skin tone. All right, make sense? Okay, so tutorials. Maryland tutorials, great. There's 3 more tutorials here. You've probably already looked at this, how to use the postage stamp template file. But I want to draw you back. I think, actually I did. I shared this information with you, and I went back and I added a lot of these tutorials. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and remember week 3 announcement. We had this original shadow and highlight techniques video. Well, I went back after our email chat yesterday. I went back and I included some of the resources that I had shared with you. So these are those. So here's 2 videos here, then here's 6 more videos here, and then here's 2 more tutorials here. So plenty to work with. And then of course we have this tutorial here. That one is located right here. A lot of students seem to miss this. Where the heck did it go? Oh, right here. This is the postage stamp begin stage, but this link right here, that's this tutorial right here. Oh, that's a pretty good one too. The final outcome is that guy right here. Note, shadow and highlight area. Pretty cool, huh? And then we have another final rendering of different kinds of techniques. But again, just note the shadow and highlight areas. This one's a little quirky, I must admit, but it's still a really great depiction on establishing these shadow and highlight areas based on the parent hue. All right, and then this is wonderful. Is his hair too dark here? I think his hair might be a little bit dark in that one. Hard to tell without looking at the original image. This is really fantastic. Nice movement there. That definitely looks like a young De Niro. So, yep, just keep working. This is nice right here. Good depiction of tonal range using flat hue. That's great. Good job. Good job. All right, I'm digging what I'm seeing here, and I can't wait to see more, Susan. So, yeah, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. But you're right on task here, so I'm not real concerned. I think that you're doing great stuff. So again, though, any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.